So about a month ago, we got our first teaser trailer for the new MJ movie, and all I can say is just wow. I am so excited. It's taken a while, but I think it will be well worth the wait. So obviously, the Michael Jackson biopic is scheduled to release in April of 2026. They haven't given an official date, but we know that's going to be the general range. And it's titled Michael. Antoine Fuqua is directing. And somehow, if you didn't know, Jafar Jackson is set to star as MJ. He's the nephew of the real-life Michael Jackson, which is incredible. I'm so glad they were able to make this work. Obviously, there was a ton of relatives, but I think this is probably the correct choice. So his father is actually Jermaine Jackson, fellow member of the Jackson 5. Jermaine was the fourth born, and Michael was the seventh born in the family of 10 children, that is, the Jackson family. The film is expected to cover his entire life. I hope the movie does justice to each chapter of his life, and it doesn't just step over or rush through the slower parts and slower essential areas of his life that made him Michael. So I hope they don't just, focus on the glitz and the glamour and all the fun stuff, because there's plenty of ups and downs throughout his life. The initial talks for the film began way back in 2019, but there was many setbacks, not limiting to, but including COVID, and probably more influentially was Paris Jackson, his daughter. Her disapproval for the script and the way it portrayed her father. She obviously, I don't think any of us would want a biopic of our father out in front of millions and billions of people. So it's understandable that she was maybe a little overcritical, but she was just trying to protect herself and her own family. But let's be honest, let's take a step back. So biopics have been trending, especially high in Hollywood, I would say in the past 5 years. And let me throw out a few names, a few movies that you've seen at least one of them, but they all fall in that biopic category. So Elvis, Whitney Houston, Bob Dylan, Amy Winehouse, Aretha Franklin, Neil Diamond. I know that one hasn't come out yet. It comes out on Christmas of this year, I believe, but we'll throw it into that category. And then last but not least, which is easily my favorite of this list, or any biopic that came out that I just didn't mention, was the Bob Marley movie. Obviously, I'm biased. That's one of my favorite artists of all time, and compared to these other artists I just named, I definitely prefer his genre of reggae. And just as a blanket statement for all biopics, I hope this trend continues as long as they're done properly and tastefully. Obviously, everyone wants to have the most entertaining biopic and a fun watch, but at the end of the day, you got to do each individual person justice, because you don't want to dramatize their life too much to make the movie better. You'd rather just stay truthful, even if that means a little more downtown than you'd prefer. And now I got two very different questions, but two very essential questions. Let's start on the tougher subject, the more sore subject. How will they cover the allegations against Michael? Obviously, they have to address it. They can't just leave that out of the film, because then it just won't be doing proper justice to his life, because it happened. So it might be uncomfortable, but it has to be talked about. And I know there's been so many documentaries. I really didn't even pay attention to those documentaries. I'm not as informed as I should be, so I'm not going to say my opinion on it. But obviously, the directors and the people behind this film have done their due diligence and hopefully their research. So I'm curious to see how they're going to cover the allegations. Let me know what your preferred display of the allegations would be for this movie. And then the other one is, what song do you have to hear? Obviously, there's going to be a ton of his songs played, excerpts here and there, bits here and there. And they're going to cover a lot of it. But what is one song of his that you absolutely have to hear? For me, maybe it's a little too vanilla, but I love it. It's my favorite song from him. It's Billie Jean. I know I'm going to hear it, but are you going to hear your favorite song of MJ in this movie? Let me know what you think and drop a comment.